I think Soto's arrival this year is similar to the Wade Boggs arrival in '93. What are your thoughts? Stacey, I guess you lived through this arrival, so let's hear unlike me, let's hear your thoughts.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm one of your hosts, Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. With me, as always, is my co-host, Brian McKeon. Happy Friday. It's your first Fanmail Friday. How excited are you?
You can tell by my facial expression. I'm bawling. I can't wait.
It'll be fun. Usual stuff. Subscribe. Subscribe on your audio services. Subscribe on YouTube. Like the videos. Hit the bell. Do all that good stuff. And let's get started. It's Fanmail Friday, so we'll be answering all your questions. And if there's time, because it might go long, because there are a lot of questions. You guys did a really great job this week. We'll do a quick preview of the series in Cleveland this weekend. So let's jump right into it. As usual, as you guys know, insider questions first. And this is kind of tradition now. First question from Betty. First, Brian, Stacey and Brian, you guys are a winning combination. Love the humor, optimism, and combined knowledge. My question is the same thing I've been texting about all week. She's not kidding. She has been texting about this all week. What is up with Cabrera? I'm not buying the lefty pitcher excuse.
Well, Betty, I would say that I think there's some sense of disbelief in the Yankee clubhouse. I don't know what it's from. I don't know what analytics they have to prove it. I mean, they're going to fall behind that excuse anyway. If you asked Boone, he would give you, oh, well, the analytics, we don't like the matchup. He'd give you some excuse like that. But the best educated response that I think I could give you, and I think Stacey could probably give you too, is I don't know. I don't know why he's not playing, because he's tearing the cover off the ball every time he's out there. He's hitting the ball hard. He's putting it in good places. His fielding is unbelievably great. I don't know, because it's not like Birdie is that much of a better player than Cabrera. So I can't tell you why he's not playing. I think if you ask the Yankees, they're going to give you some analytical excuse like they do for every other reason that they give you. They don't want to tell you the real answer, so that's what it is. There has to be a sense of disbelief in the Yankee front office and Cabrera.
Yeah, like I joked that, oh, well, maybe they want Birdie to play against his old team, but it's not that. It's some sort of weird excuse. And it's odd because Cabrera was hitting everyone in the Houston series, so the analytics thing is a bunch of what's the word? Bull poop?
Malarkey.
Malarkey. What was the other word I was trying to think of? I can't think of it right now, but yeah, I just don't understand. Like, there really isn't an answer to this because we didn't hear anything about an injury.
Yeah, you didn't toss him into one game. Like, they didn't toss him into one game, and there were opportunities to pinch hit too. There were plenty of opportunities. I mean, you had a game, one of the games that they lost last week where they had Trevino coming up at the end of the game, and like you could have easily either put Wells or Cabrera in, and they didn't do either. So I don't, and that's a major problem too that we should discuss at some point, is Trevino's lack of ability to hit. But yeah, there is something fundamentally that they don't like about Cabrera. That's just what it is, because he hasn't got any play time.
Yeah, it's weird. Thank you for the question. As usual, Betty. She's a tried and true insider, and we love her.
Do you want me to read the next one, or do you want to read all?
Oh, you can. Yes, just make sure you read. If you want me to,
I'd like to read Aaron's question, because I think this is a thing that I expanded on years ago, and I got crap for that I want to defend.
Oh, good. Okay.
Aaron asks, when do we start sounding the alarm for a contract extension for Volpe, and what do you think of a long-term extension actually looks like for him if the front office gave him one this year? I'd like to hear what you have to say, because I have a similar scenario to this for me.
No, I'm glad you want to say something about this, because I'm the worst at even thinking about contracts and extensions and stuff, because I feel like the Yankees have been burned by extensions lately. You know, there's a few examples of extensions that have not gone well for them. Hicks, Severino, DJ right now. You know, there's a number of things. I don't think it's going to be the same thing for Volpe, but they didn't do anything for Gleyber. They're probably going to let Gleyber go to free agency. I don't know what they're going to do here.
So that was my feeling a few years ago when Gleyber was 23 years old. I was making the assumption or the point that they should give Gleyber a 10-year, $200 million extension, which everyone thought I was crazy for saying. And 10 years, $200 million for a player of Gleyber. I know Gleyber Torres has a lot of skepticism around him, and people love to give excuses of why they don't like him. And he seems to be a punching bag a lot of times, which I don't understand why. But Gleyber Torres for $20 million a year is one of the best contracts you could find in baseball. It is, because say what you want, he had a terrible month of August last year. Look how his numbers finished up. Yeah. He hits 20 home runs every year. He flirts with 80 RBIs every year. He hits 270, and he drives in runs. His fielding is a lot better than people give him credit for. Gleyber Torres had been in a great contract up until the age of 33 years old for $20 million a year. It would have, for the type of player that he matured into. And I said this after the rookie year where he had 38 home runs, and after his sophomore year when he had 38 home runs, and I'm sorry, in his rookie year when he had 26 and his second year when he had 30, I thought he was going to be a power hitter for most of his career. I would do the exact same contract with Volpe. I would do it right now. I'd give him a 10-year extension for $200 million. Why would a kid not take that? And where he's making, $600,000 now, of course he'd sign up for that. And you lock the kid up for 10 more years into his young 30s. So you're not getting burned by a guy in his late 30s with a contract for that long. You're getting him through all of his prime. And a player like that, a Gold Glover already, a guy who clearly has power, he's only getting better. And he could be your leadoff hitter for the next. I mean, the Yankees would have loved to give Derek Jeter a contract for $20 million a year 10 years prior when they were paying him crazy money towards the end of his career. I think signing players to deals at young ages is the formula that works. I really, really, really genuinely believe that. Look at what the Braves have done.
Yeah. I think the Red Sox recently did that too to someone, right? Within the last few days. Yeah.
And the Braves are paying Acuna less than $15 million a year, and he's one of the best players in baseball.
Hello, 40-70.
And they're a team that doesn't go out and spend a lot of money in the off seasons. Now imagine what the Yankees could do with a contract like that. So I think these are the moves. Like, I would sign Jason Dominguez right now. Right now, I'd give him an 8-year deal for $9 million a year. He'd probably take it. He probably would. And you're gambling your prospects work out, right? And sometimes that doesn't work out and you have egg on your face, right? But other times, that prospect becomes Aaron Judge. And could you imagine how the Yankees would feel right now if they would have signed Aaron Judge to a massive extension like that?
Right.
They feel brilliant. They wouldn't have had to get themselves stuck in that situation that they got themselves stuck in 2 years ago. So I'm a big proponent of it. Volpe, right now, 10 years, $200 million. I'd offer him tomorrow. I'd offered him to yesterday.
There you go, Aaron. There's the answer to your question.
Sorry, I got a little passionate there. I got a little heated.
And no, that's fine. Next up, Kyle. Welcome, Brian. Everyone's being very welcoming, nice. Question. Yankees have had a strong start to this 2024 season. With all that is going on with players, do you think the Yankees can get to 100 wins at minimum? No.
I mean, they can get there, sure. I mean,
if everyone stays healthy, sure.
Yeah. I mean, we're a week and a half in, Kyle. I mean, I love you for responding and thank you for listening, but we're a week and a half in. You don't know who's going to get hurt. You still don't know they think Gerrit Cole will be back in June, but you don't know. I mean, Gerrit Cole could miss the whole year. Nestor could go down, and then where are you? Judge is struggling. What if Judge is still hurt? You don't really know. At a minimum, I don't know. Vegas set their over under at 93.5. Yeah. So Vegas thinks they're good. Does Vegas think they're 100 wins good? I don't know. Vegas only thought the Dodgers are 100 win good. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think the Yankees are on the same caliber as the Dodgers. I don't. But 100 wins is remember, they've been good since 2017. They won 100 games twice. So it's not like it's a guarantee. 100 wins is a lot of wins in a season.
True. But you also look at teams like the Orioles, where they didn't expect them to do what they did last year, and they won over 100 games. So, I mean, it's totally really, right. You never know. You really never know. Because, you don't know how people are going to be, but maybe this might be an odd year for the Yankees where they get all their injury nonsense out at the beginning of the year and everything is fine. And Cole comes back and things are good. And maybe they get 95 wins. You never know.
But you just don't know. You just
right.
That's why baseball is the ultimate marathon sport, right? I mean, you're going from late March to September. And you got to try and stay consistent and ride the wave. Now that you started the year off so good, listen, you start the year off, you just win series. You play a little above 500 ball the rest of the year, you're a playoff team. They play 500 ball the rest of the year, they're a playoff team. So just got to ride that wave. Let's go to Ruben. For Fanmail, for Friday Fanmail, he did a little backwards. I like that. I think Soto's arrival this year is similar to the Wade Boggs arrival in '93. What are your thoughts? Stacey, I guess you lived through this arrival, so let's hear unlike me, let's hear your thoughts on this.
Unlike me, who wasn't even born for 4 years.
Not even a thought.
You weren't even a thought. Weren't even a glimmer in your parents' eyes. The thing about the Wade Boggs thing was just so weird because he was so known as a Red Sox,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the first real shocking Red Sox acquisition for the Yankees, and then Clemens came over and then Damon. So we kind of got used to that stuff. And it wasn't like the Yankees and Red Sox didn't have back and forth and stuff, but the Wade Boggs thing, I remember people being like, holy cow, like what is happening here? It sort of feels similar, but I don't know. This feels like a different thing because there's the threat of Soto leaving after this year where there wasn't with Boggs, but it was a very big deal when Boggs came over, just like it was a big deal when Soto came over. So there's the similarity to that.
Yeah, but Wade Boggs wasn't 25 years old. Wade Boggs wasn't looked at as a top 10 player in the history of baseball. I'm pretty sure Juan Soto, the only thing that he can't do that Wade Boggs could do is drink 70 beers in a plane ride. So I don't.
Eat chicken before every game.
And eat chicken before every game. I don't think Juan Soto's doing. Maybe grilled chicken Juan Soto's doing before every game. But regardless, I don't. Soto's arrival. I mean, again, we mentioned this throughout the week, and we can continue to. Soto is Ted Williams. He is the modern day version of Ted Williams. If he keeps this up, which I mean, that's a lot to say, but if he keeps this up, which I mean, he's done. Soto is going to go down as a top 10 player in the history of baseball, and that's not an exaggeration. Those are what his numbers speak. So this is way bigger. And you're right. There was no fear of Wade Boggs leaving, and at that point too, even if there was a fear of Wade Boggs leaving, the fear wouldn't have been as great because the Yankees were at that period of time where they were worth so much more than any other team in baseball. They could have signed Wade Boggs if they wanted to. They could have offered significantly more than any other team in the league could have offered at that point.
Right.
Now you've got too many teams in the league with too much money that can go out there and they can give Soto a massive deal. Like, you're not surprised. I don't think you'll see the Dodgers do it just because of the Yamamoto and Ohtani signing there. They're a little spent out at this point. But, I mean, I brought this up, and we're going to get into this a little bit later on in the week, or next week. If the Mets have a terrible year and Steve Cohen wants to throw, I don't know, $700 million at Juan Soto, he can. That didn't exist when Wade Boggs was a Yankee. When Wade Boggs was a Yankee, the Yankees could have offered him more money than any other team significantly, and he would have chose the Yankees. That formula isn't a thing anymore. So it's a different scenario. I get what you're saying, but I think it's a bigger deal with Soto. I think there's more angst involved around Soto.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, that's the end of segment 1 with our insiders. The insiders did a great job this week. Thank you guys for all the questions.
Had a great time.
Well, up next in segment 2, we have YouTube questions. But before we do that, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification bell so you know when the videos go up, reply to the pinned comments on our videos Monday through Thursday. I forgot to do it on Tuesday, I think it was. Sorry. If you want your questions answered for Fanmail Friday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions. There's a 14-day free trial. So again, coming up, answering more of your questions. Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items, from groceries to beauty supplies to toys. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, the flight you've been eyeing, or the fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much, but with Ibotta, you add your offers in the app, upload the receipt, and you get real cash that you can cash out to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. Join over 50 million users and earn cash back every time you shop from over 2,700 brands and retailers, including all your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, Ibotta is offering Locked On Yankees listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app and start earning cash back and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Do you have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And you can catch the hometown Yankees broadcast on SiriusXM. Download the SiriusXM app and search the word Yankees. Whew. So now we're up to our YouTube questions. Good job. Again, I apologize for not putting a pinned. I think I may have missed it Wednesday. I was looking. I was like, oops, sorry.
I know I wanted to add my question and I couldn't find a place to put it. It was
I'm usually better, and I'm usually in there chatting with people as the episodes premiere, and I put it in, and I don't know what happened. Anyway, first question, Ambitious Monk. Hello, Stacey and Brian. Love your new tandem. You've mentioned twice, I think, since the season started that we shouldn't worry about Judge because he's going to figure it out. When do you think we need to be worried? And more importantly, why is he struggling to get it going? Is it the ab injury?
I certainly hope not.
I know.
Judge's struggles. I don't think it's time to be concerned yet. Like we mentioned yesterday, I will say it's official. I was going to say unofficial, but it's official. The official best first baseman in the 2000s era Yankees, Mark Teixeira, notoriously started off bad every single year. He didn't really get it going until late in May every year. He was like a month and a half of a bad hitter, and then all of a sudden he would catch fire and be an unstoppable player. So you can give Judge a little bit of time. I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt. But there is a little cause for concern, especially coming off the injury in spring training. And the Yankees notoriously love to hide injuries from us.
Right.
I don't think there's necessarily no cause for concern. He's been lucky that the team has hit so well and taken so many pitches. And it's not like he's not effective at the plate, right? Like he is walking a lot. His on base is still high, but there is a little bit of cause for concern.
Yeah, I think the ab injury has something to do with it, but I think it's because the ab injury derailed him during spring training and he didn't have a normal spring training.
I'd agree with that too. I'd agree. I think that's a good point. Yeah. I wouldn't be too concerned yet. The Judge he's a full-time major leaguer. I think he'll be fine. I'll figure things out.
Yeah.
Next question. Hello, Stacey and Brian. Although I love Boone going after an umpire, we need to have a home plate scanner to call the balls and strikes. The technology is there. The batters deserve it. What is going on in MLB regarding this issue? Go Yankees. And that was from at Matt Expat-PS5YK. Matt, you got to get a better last name. I don't want to ruin people's last names, but I don't even know how to pronounce PS5YK. But I do agree with you. Enough of the umpires. I hate saying that, and I want the human element involved. But we discussed this last week too in the earlier series. I forgot who the series was, but the Angel Hernandez play where he called the strike on Gleyber, even though the pitcher was in motion, and that you had Juan Soto even yesterday in the ninth inning when Juan Soto clearly asked for time before the pitch came, and they let the pitch go. Now the Yankees benefited off that one because it was a ball, and Juan Soto got to a 3-1 count, but it should have been time. I don't get it, and there seems to be this ego involved in umpires now too, where if you argue with them or you question them, they're so trigger happy to throw you out of the game. Boone argues, and Boone was right to argue. You mentioned it yesterday, Stacey. Like the Verdugo calls were hideous; they were horrendous. So he was right to argue there. And Boone lets his temper get a little out of control at times, but more often than not, it's justified. Boone's not out there screaming to try and get his team going. More often than not, it's justified. So we've seen, I think, too long of umpires being, quite frankly, bad at their job, and there's no consequences. There's nothing that comes of it. You don't get less games. Angel Hernandez was doing playoff games last year.
Yeah.
Well, there's no consequences for it. And he sues the league for not getting more games. So I don't know, Stacey. I mean, I have no problem at this point with robo-umps, and I was against robo-umps. Now I'm all for it. I really am.
Well, they seem to be getting worse. And it's not just Angel Hernandez. It's other umpires. Like, you shouldn't really know people's names. You shouldn't know umpires' names, honestly.
No, that's the point, right? If you don't know their name, that means they're good at their job.
Yeah. Like there are guys I know, and it's just like, great. When you see them, you moan and groan, and you're just like, oh, yeah, oh no.
Angel Hernandez is the poster child for that. He's the poster child. He's the worst ump in the league, and I think that's fair to say.
Like, him, CB Buckner, Laz Diaz.
Awful.
You see those three names, you're just like, oh no.
Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you saw it. I mean, again, I go back to, and these are, and I'm not a whole pro Yankee when it comes to only players that don't like I want to see a fairly called game. And
yes.
I mean, the Yankees, the Juan Soto play helped the Yankees greatly. They got it to a 3-1 count when it should have been a 2-2 count late in that game. And that was clearly a ball when it was thrown. But Stacey, he called time clearly in time. And yes, Soto benefited off of it. He clearly called time in time. And the umpire was like, no, we're still going to play on. That's ridiculous. That can't happen.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Next question. Jeremy Dyer, 7566. Who do you expect to be our biggest problem in the AL East this season? Baltimore.
Yeah, next. I mean, I think it's definitely Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore, even with calling up Holiday yesterday, their pitching staff is awesome. They're deep now. They've been through it for 1 year. Like, they know they can win 100 games. They know they can make noise. Baltimore terrifies me. And Baltimore doesn't just terrify me in 2024. Baltimore terrifies me in 2025 and 6 and 7 and 8
and 9, all the way through to like 2032.
Yeah. That's when Baltimore scares me, especially with new ownership. That's willing to spend money, especially with new ownership, which is an underlying thing not a lot of people spoke about in the offseason, which is a big deal because new owners come in and want to spend money and want their team to win and want to prove something to their new city, and they're going to get the opportunity to do that, especially with a good team. You don't feel bad about spending money when your team is good. When your team is bad, you feel no use to spend the money because why do it? They're not going to win anyway. But when your team is good, you have no problem spending the money. So they terrify me.
The thing that's really scary is they're good, they're going to have money to spend, and their farm system is still amazing because they didn't do what people wanted them to do at the trade deadline and trade their entire farm for Shohei Ohtani, because people were totally going like, oh, the Orioles should do that. And they didn't do that. So that's why when I say they're going to be terrifying till about 2032, I'm not that far off.
They have room to make trades, and none of their star players are making any money. Mm-hmm. Think about that. None of their good young players make any money. It's they've run their team. They were a laughingstock since like 2010, but dear God, have they done a great job. I mean, a great job at rebuilding their team. They really did. Let's go to at NYY Hulkamaniacs. I guess he's a wrestling and a Yankee fan. What do you think the Yankees will do when Jason Dominguez is ready to come back? Where will he play? And what do you think the Yankees will do when Spencer Jones is ready? And where will he play if both come ready this season?
I've said this before. I don't think the reason Jason Dominguez came up as early as he did was the Yankees were horrible last year. They weren't going anywhere, and they thought, let's bring some of the kids up. That's basically what it is. And he was doing so well. They were like, yeah, let's bring him up. Let's just shake things up and do something that people aren't expecting us to do. I think if a disaster happens and like 5 people get injured, then maybe Spencer Jones will be called up, but that would probably be the only scenario. I can't see Spencer Jones coming up in 2024. I'm really envisioning 2025.
You will see Dominguez, and I don't know what the plan is. I think the plan is to put him in left field and have him figure out left field, have him be a future left fielder where he's not going to be throwing the ball as much. So his arm doesn't have a chance of getting re-injured or anything.
Yeah.
I don't think they want to put him in center yet, even though he can play center. But if he plays center, where do you put Soto? Do you DH Judge? It creates too many problems. I think Verdugo becomes a bench guy. I think when they give Judge days off, when they give Stanton days off and put Judge in as DH, Verdugo becomes your bench player. And then Dominguez will slide over to center, and then Verdugo will go to left. I think that's what Verdugo slides into, and Verdugo becomes one of the better bench players in all of baseball. I think Dominguez plays most of the time. I don't think there's a chance you see Spencer Jones. Unless this season completely falls off the rails, and unless they have just a ton of injuries, you're not going to see Jones. I think Jones will be brought up in trade talks. I don't know if they'll do it, but if they plan on throwing the bag at Juan Soto, I think there's a really, really solid chance that they don't mind trading Jones. Because where is he going to play? There's no room for him in the next decade. Judge is locked up for the next 10 years. Soto, they're going to give it.
Judge isn't going to play. He's not going to play outfield for more than the next.
He's going to give you 5 or 6.
I don't know.
He'll move to a corner outfield position. He's not going to play center for that long.
I don't know. I think, because of his body type, because of his height, you don't see guys like him in the outfield. We've never really seen guys like him in the outfield, and we don't know what it's going to do like by the time he's 35. because he's
It's at least the
32
next
now.
3 years while Stanton's still under contract. It's at least
Yeah.
the next 3 years while Stanton's still here. I don't think and you can't, and again, if Jones is ready, you're not going to wait 3 years for him to be able to play. You can't do
No.
that. And that's
No.
not fair to Jones or your own farm system. Plus, what you could get for Jones is one of the top known prospects in all of baseball. If they need a starting pitcher at the deadline, if they need a top reliever, which they're going to be in the market for both, I think, especially a closer, because I don't know if they necessarily trust Holmes in a big playoff spot. He's got a little too much wankiness, a lot of times where he's susceptible to balls. Jones could be a top tier piece to me move at the deadline. So
They could
I
have
don't think
gotten
you see
Corbin
Jones this year.
Burns with Spencer Jones, and they
And I would
didn't
have
do it.
And I would have liked that. I really would have. Let's go on to the last one here, Stace.
Okay. What is that? 1-3 of 5. 1-3 of 5. 1-3
like
of 5. Soto, Volpe, and Stanton popping off. How much does it help Judge that he no longer has to carry the entire universe on his shoulders? Because basically that's what it's been.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps him, but I think he's gotten used to it. I don't think that flusters him. They named him
No.
team captain while he was doing all of that. So I don't think it flusters him as a player. I don't think it changes his mindset either. I don't think Judge minds being that kind of guy. I kind of like when he's that guy because the whole organization rallies around him.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters. I think all this does though is help. All this does is help because now when Judge struggles like he is, the team doesn't struggle because you have other guys to pick him up. So it doesn't matter too much, no. But I don't think it matters that much, to be honest with you. I think Judge thrives in either situation.
I agree.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Okay. Coming up next, a very quick preview of the series in Cleveland against the Guardians.
Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose with FanDuel. And this weekend, I like a very particular series that I'm very interested in. Padres-Dodgers. You're getting Yamamoto in the first game of this series against a former Yankee, Michael King, who has actually pitched really well this season. He pitched really well at the end of last year with the Yankees as a starter, and he's been really good this year. Yamamoto has struggled. He had one really good start against Chicago, a so-so start in his second start, and his first start, as you know, was awful. I like the Padres at plus 162, a nice underdog, a little bit of juice involved there with Michael King to show up and have a really good game later on tonight. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks and all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by LinkedIn. Are you struggling to close deals? Business-to-business selling is tougher than ever, and that's why I want to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people that matter. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That's linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon and get yourself started. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Stacey, Yankees, Guardians. Some of the more fascinating, enjoyable playoff series we've seen out of the Yankees in the last couple of years, really in history. The Yankees and Guardians have played some really awesome playoff series. More notably, that 2017 ALDS I really enjoyed. I'm still screaming from that DD home run. Friday's matchup, we're gonna have Clarke Schmidt against Carlos Carrasco. Carrasco's back in the Guardians uniform, by the way, after leaving the Mets. Stacey, you excited to see the Schmidt performance? Because from what I've seen this year, Schmidt's been pretty awesome, and he's pretty much taken off from where he was last year, I feel like.
Yeah, I just want to see more length, but yes, he's, he seems like his confidence seems better when he goes out there, like he has
I'd
a
agree.
little bit of a swagger there, which I kind of like from him. Because I think he could be really, really good. It's just maybe the walks. He had too many walks against Toronto in his last outing, but his first outing against Houston was pretty good, actually. 5 1/3 innings. Yeah, I feel like he got that first year out of the way, and he'll be better in year 2.
I think you got to win that matchup if you want to win this series, because Saturday's matchup, you got Heel going, who's been okay, but going up against Tristan McKenzie, who's one of the greatest, he's one of the best strikeout artists that you have in the league right now. Young, talent, 101 miles an hour, really solid pitcher. A Yankee team that struggles to not strike out. I think Tristan McKenzie could really give the Yankees some trouble out there. He doesn't go deep in games either, but he can give the Yankees a lot of trouble, a lot of striking out. I don't love that matchup for them.
Yeah, the thing I'm worried about with Heel is, again, like with Schmidt, the length, because he went 4 2/3 against Arizona, but then he only went 4 1/3 against Toronto. Now, the strikeout numbers were great for Heel because he does well striking out, but the walks also are kind of up too. So I'd like to see Heel get 8 strikeouts and maybe 2 walks instead of 4 this time around. That'd be great.
And then game 3 Sunday, you're gonna have Nestor Cortes against Logan Allen. Cortes coming off one of the best starts of his career in that last matchup. So I mean, we'll see what he can do against Cleveland. Cleveland sneakily has a really good record this year. They've played really well. So I like this. Is going to be a fun series. This is going to be a little bit of a litmus test for the Yankees. I didn't think they were very tested in that Marlins series because Miami's not one of the worst teams in baseball. So I like this Guardians series. It's a good test for them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it works out for them. I mean, there are a few teams that are performing in amazing ways right now. I mean, the Royals are 8-4? Like no one would have expected that from.
And my Bucks, my Pirates, like I told you, they're winning that division. They're winning that division.
What to look out for? I mentioned Smith and Heel with the length. Nestor not regressing too much from the Miami start, because you don't expect him to perform the same way that he did against Miami, against Cleveland. It's not going to be the same. Judge, does he finally make consistent contact in this series? Stanton, on the other hand, will he stop hitting now that he's on the road again?
Let's hope not.
And as you said, Cleveland's 9-3. They're a better team than some of the teams that the Yankees have played so far. So if anyone's thinking they're going to walk into Cleveland and just march over them, get that thought out of your head.
Yeah, no, Cleveland's good. Cleveland's good. And you didn't think they were going to be that good this year, but they are really good.
All right, one more time before we end the week. Don't forget to join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description and a 14-day free trial. You get text from us. You can text us questions for Fanmail Friday. And if you don't want to join the Insiders Club, how dare you? Just kidding. You can leave comments under our videos on YouTube and leave questions for Fanmail Friday under the pinned comment Monday through Thursday. And you can catch the Hometown Yankees broadcast on SiriusXM by downloading the SiriusXM app and searching for Yankees. Now, coming up next week, we recap this series, preview the series against the Blue Jays up in Toronto, and of course, we'll be updating you about what's happening on the farm for Miners Monday. Again, it's not going to be as in-depth as Steve used to go, but we'll let you know what's going on.
And I'll be broadcasting live from the desert in Las Vegas. So
right.
I'm very excited about talking to you guys there. Starting Wednesday, I'll be in Vegas broadcasting to you guys. That's
right. I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah,
Brian's going to be in. Yeah. Hopefully Brian won't be too hungover when he does the shows.
We'll see.
So that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you guys on Monday.